I first met my wife when I was at the park. I was jogging and she was having a picnic with her best friend. They both waved at me and I couldn't help but notice how beautiful she was. It had been 2 years since I'd even tried dating anyone. I approached them and the rest was history. She was mild-mannered, but well-socialized. Her parents raised her to be a proper lady. I was just her third ever relationship at the age of 26. Before I knew it, we were together for 3 years and I was proposing. Our 13 years of marriage were amazing. Picture perfect. We met so many friends along the way and made a lot of great memories that still have an effect on me. On more than one occasion, a friend of ours asked us how we made our marriage so great. I wish I knew what kept it going or why it had to end. From my perspective, everything was great between us, minus 1 or 2 strange things. One of these was that my wife was frequently invited on shopping sprees with one particular friend. She was called Helen. I never met her. My wife only had about $40 to spend each week, but she never complained. Then my wife got a brand new car. She said it was left to her in her father's will. She just wasn't able to pick it up for a while. I never saw any proof of what she said, but she was so happy and seemingly innocent. I didn't feel like I needed to ask more about it. I trusted her, but that soon changed. I was good friends with all the people at my shop. They would show me things they found on the internet that they got a kick out of. I had a smartphone, but I didn't have accounts all over everything like they did. One day, my buddy casually walked over to me to show me some TikTok videos. He scrolled down, and I saw a very attractive woman. After 2 seconds, her face came into frame, and I saw that it was my wife in our house. She was barely wearing any clothes, and she was dancing. I was shocked. I asked my friend how the heck he had my wife on his phone, but he said she was just really popular. She had lots of followers. He showed me, and I saw she had 237,000 followers. I didn't even know my wife had a TikTok account. I watched her doing yoga and smiling at me. Here she was, displaying herself for all to see. And if she was doing this, what else was she doing? I raced home after that. My mind was swimming about Helen, the shopping sprees, the car all the time. She had to do what she wanted. No wonder why she never wanted to get a job. She was too busy flirting, and I might as well say cheating with other men. When I confronted my wife about it, she started saying sorry over and over again, finding herself unable to voice any reason for what I just saw. I was speechless, but I'm sure my face told her what she wanted to know. She tried to get close to me and cry, but I wasn't in the mood to comfort her. I closed myself in the bathroom, with her up against the door. In desperation, I screamed to ask her what I just saw. She said she just started doing it, believing it wouldn't hurt us and she could have some fun, even though other men watched her. She swore she'd never do any cheating for real. I was disgusted and felt like this definitely fell into the category of cheating. I asked her if they ever gave her money, and she hesitated before saying they did. I asked her who Helen was, and she was silently sobbing. She squeaked a few times before she explained who this person was to her. Helen was a fake name for her sugar daddy. She didn't call him that, but that's what she described. She was paid to be his emotional partner and go on dates or shopping sprees. This was not the wife I knew. I opened the bathroom door and asked if she ever slept with him. She looked me straight in the eye and said no, but her mouth moved in the way it did whenever she lied. I asked her for her phone and she refused, so I kicked her out. She didn't know how to make this right, and there was no way she could have. There was nothing that would have made me let her stay in my house ever again. I had to stand up for myself the way I would have stood up for my wife if she was worth it. Before the divorce was even final, my wife was arrested. She was caught selling something of hers that shouldn't have been for sale. She got so used to doing this behind my back. It must have been a relief to do it as a single woman. When her family found out what she was really like, they couldn't believe it for a while. They wanted to blame me for her behavior, but it became clear I wasn't the one to drive her away. Her parents actually took her back into their home, only for her to bring men over and wake them up at night. They didn't tolerate that more than twice, and she was back to surviving alone. She did tell me she felt terribly miserable for destroying our relationship and all the other relationships she had. I told her I would never forgive her for ruining the relationship I saw as perfect. I still find it hard to believe she completely changed like this. She needs redemption, and I wish her the best of luck, but I'm not holding my breath. I have since started dating properly again, maintaining my independence and my refusal to stoop below moral standards. It's hard knowing that I loved this woman for so long, and she still made the decision to hide something from me. What keeps me going is the hope that I'll find a woman who tells me what she's thinking about. If she tells me she needs more friends or attention, if the bedroom activities need to change, whatever it is, I know that's the only way to avoid something like this from happening. And I'll be an observant spouse that verbally reaches out to connect with my mate. If she can't talk to me honestly about how she feels, there's no way I will get the chance to improve it. Just because she feels this way doesn't mean I deserve to lose my spouse. And it doesn't mean she deserves another lover. Communication, compromise, and compassion have the power to restore and maintain any partnership. The problem is, people aren't perfect, and they don't always want or feel able to communicate what they don't like about the relationship anymore. All they know is they don't like handling a drastic life change or putting up with the hassle of heartbreak. Finding a way to cheat is easy in today's world, but it still isn't right. She quickly let her secret habit take over and ruin her life as soon as she left. If she was truly remorseful, I don't think she would have behaved like that, which goes to show I did the right thing. Whenever a spouse cheats on their mate, the best option is to start over again. The first and hardest step to this is cleaning up the remains of what was. Making a plan or figuring out how to proceed without the one you loved is difficult, but not impossible. And it's the only way to move forward in life. Anyways, let's now get into our second story. I worked on a crabbing boat for 30 years. For 7 of those years, I was married to my wife. Our relationship was pretty good, but whenever I had to leave for a fishing trip, she hated it. I could be gone for up to 5 months, but that didn't happen too often. There was also a risk factor, so she worried about me. Sometimes reception wasn't too great out at sea, so we invested in walkie-talkies that could communicate up to 1,000 miles apart. I was usually busy doing something, so we didn't talk all day every day, but at least once a day. My wife suddenly went from dreading my departure and trying to get me to retire to encouraging me to leave. She said she found 2 new hobbies, which were gardening and raising chickens. Still, I secretly asked my brother to keep an eye on her because I believed she could be cheating on me. He was more than willing to keep me updated, so I gave him a walkie-talkie as well and told him a channel other than the one I spoke to my wife on. A month into my journey, he told me he knew for sure she was cheating on me, and I broke down. I didn't think it would hurt as bad as it did when I knew for sure. I tried asking him questions to figure out who he was. I asked what he looked like, where he lived, where he worked. Anything he could find out. He actually asked why I wanted to know. I said revenge and certainty. He said he wasn't sure it was such a good idea for me to seek this guy out. He suggested I just let it go and divorce my wife. I asked him why he thought that was the best thing to do, and he said finding the truth might hurt me more than just accepting what happened. It was much harder to work. After this conversation, I didn't know it was a fake name, but I knew it wasn't someone I knew. I found it was wrong, but he didn't want to help me find out as much about this guy as possible. I kept radioing my brother. Over the next few days, even more than I did my wife. I didn't want her to know I knew until I got home to confront her and officially break up. I didn't need her covering her tracks, causing me to second-guess the truth. One day, I decided to give him a call. Even though it was after midnight, he answered me. Before our conversation got very far, I heard my wife's voice in the background while he spoke to me. My jaw dropped. There was no mistaking her voice. My brother was with her right now and openly talking to me in front of her. I asked why he was with her, and it took way too long for him to reply. She tried to radio me to pretend she wasn't with my brother at the moment. She sent a message that she wasn't cheating on me with him. And who was she cheating with? Because I knew it was someone. She finally admitted that yes, she was cheating with my brother, and I heard him scolding her for telling me. She went on to tell me that he wanted to be with her and planned on lying to me so that I wouldn't hate him but would still divorce her. I switched to my brother's channel and started talking to him. He said she was lying and there really was another man. He was only with her now because he confronted her as he left. I told him I never wanted her to know that I knew, so she'd be unprepared for me to leave her. He apologized for telling her, but swore she was lying when she said he was her lover. Needless to say, it was hard for me. I wanted to side with my brother, but I knew he was lying. When I finally got home, I filed for divorce and tried to find any record of the fake name he gave me. To no avail. My wife tried convincing me my brother was her lover, but I refused to credit her words at all. She didn't want me to divorce her, even though she was cheating. I told her no matter who he was, she didn't deserve to have a man to care for her if she was going to betray him whenever he wasn't around to babysit her. One day, my brother finally came clean and told me what happened. He claims that she was the one who came onto him and that he couldn't resist at the moment. I told him to never speak to me again. I then informed all of my family members of what happened, and he's no longer allowed to be near them anymore. My ex was devastated that my brother was suddenly gone and didn't know how to handle her lonely, recently divorced self. She knew what happened to him because I told her it only took 3 weeks for her to start sleeping with whoever she wanted. While dealing with my brother, deciding not to be with her anymore, to top it all off, my ex, while pregnant with one of the men she slept with, was married. And when the truth came out, it didn't stay quiet. The whole town and all the people my wife knew started trash-talking her. She went from me, to my brother, to another married man, all within a year. She deserved the unexpected pregnancy and rejection.